Note to self.
Note to self, mine is already on silent. Look.
Turn the phone off. Okay. Right, welcome to this week's Outfitter Tales. This is episode 6, full edition this week. And I've been working.
Yeah, Chris has been out with a client this morning, and I wasn't.
He's been in bed and I've had a client out this morning, and it was nearly raining.
I've been training puppies this morning.
Yeah, alright, that's fair enough. So basically, what's we doing this week? A lot of clients actually, a lot of preparation.
So I'm heading up to Argyll on Thursday.
Yeah.
So I'm basically up there for basically 6 weeks. So.
Yeah, and I had a surprise delivered yesterday, which Rob doesn't know anything about, and he's not going to do till he gets back from Argyll.
I've seen it outside.
I'm not saying any more.
I've seen it outside.
Have you? Yeah. You been picking about? It's like bloody Christmas.
There's a big, massive pallet out there.
Ah, right, okay then. Right, okay. Bought myself a Christmas present. Anyway, more of that later on. So, what we got later on the show, we've got air gun clip coming up for you this week, which is partnership with 1 or 2 people, so that's a bit of variety. And
yeah, and then we've got your dog training sessions, so you walk and talk through sort of how you did your dogs, all the way through from sort of up to Zoser.
Yeah, put right up to, partially deaf 9.5-year-old German short-haired pointer and catching up to the senility of her owner, really. So we've got that coming up. So we'll just crack on with that then.
Yeah, so here we go, Chris and his dogs.
So what we've got this week, and we've asked an awful lot about this, I think we mentioned it, alluded to it last week, is that deer dogs are a subject that is of great interest to a lot of people. Everybody's got their own idea about how to train and work a deer dog, so we're going to start off with mine, and basically, fortunately, we've got some footage from the early days of Zosia, probably 8 years ago, more than 8 years ago now, 9 years ago, when I first started with her. So we're going to introduce each little section as we go through, but primarily the clip itself is self-explanatory. So you'll see how I've built up a training briefly over the years and can actually follow progress. And I also want to introduce Oscar, who was the precursor to Zosia. So they worked together a little bit when Oscar was coming to the end of his working career, and Zosia I got as a pup. So the first clip we've got for you is basically just the start-off point of the training. And there's a couple of things I want to cover which might seem obvious to people that have been around dogs for a while, but is something that is often missed. The first thing with puppy training, I think, is don't start too early. That's vital. Wait until the dog tells you or the bitch tells you that she's ready, and you'll see that. It's like trying to teach an infant that can't walk how to walk at 3 months old. It's not going to happen. Give the dog time to enjoy its puppyhood, its childhood if you like. Be consistent with your training regime. Make it fun. Initially not too long, and try and introduce it with a reward. So Rab's training puppies at the moment, we're going to cover that in more detail, but one of the easiest things to do to get a puppy to sit, and if you're going to use a hand signal to get a puppy to sit, is to do it when you feed them. And you can start them from a very, very early age. You've got a bowl of food in there which they're eager to get and they're jumping around all over the place. Lift your hand up, give the command sit, or whatever command you're going to give, or don't even give a command if you're not going to use one, and wait till the bum is on the floor and then put the food down. They'll very quickly cotton on. When their arse is on the floor, they're going to get fed, and particularly with Labradors, because they live for food. So little things, keep it fun, keep it simple. So first clip coming up, I talk when I'm doing it anyway. Just bear in mind the quality of the camera work, guys, because this is in the early days of the shooting show. This is kind of 10 years ago, so a little bit of degradation, but at the end of the day we're trying to use it as a point of following a career at Zosia's progress. So follow it through, have a look, and this is the initial stages of me just introducing a little bit of steadiness. This is Zosh now. She's probably 4 or 5 weeks since we last filmed her. Just introducing a bit of basic steadiness now. So you can see the command I've given her there, just using a hand signal, which I want to use out in the field to get her to sit. I've got just an object in my hand which is keeping her focused on that. So what I'm just slowly introducing now is kind of backing off. I want her to stay there while I'm backing away, which she's doing quite nicely. Slightly distracted because of the camera, because normally it's just me and her. So that's what I want when I'm stalking. Just want to be able to put a hand signal, little hiss initially, and she needs to learn to do that for long periods. So I'm quite happy with that. She's coming on quite nicely. You can see a difference in size. You know, she's coming along well. Just sort of moving slowly around her. I don't want her to move, I want her to stay there so that I can, it's sort of simulating if I've got a client or something. I'm going around with the binoculars. She's just sat there nicely. And I'll slowly introduce and extend that period so that I can keep her sat for 10-15 minutes and then for longer periods. But that's good, that's enough for that little bit. So getting her to play with her leg, this is all fun. She'll chew these quite happily for ages. What's that? Good girl. What's that? Good girl. Good girl. Yeah. So again, just introducing that steadiness. That's all I want to do at this stage. Just nothing too taxing. Just let her play. Okay, I'm just going to do a bit of basic heel work. Heel. Good girl. Just to get used to walking to heel. Good girl. Heel. Good girl. Heel. Good girl. Good girl. Okay, that's nice. A little bit of praise. That's fine. She's just nicely on a slack lead. Still very curious. She's only a pup. Don't want to do anything too much. That's fine. I mean, that's just nicely getting steady. She's got a lot of promise there, so I don't think we're going to have any problem with her at all. So we just extend that now over the next couple of months. Get the lead off her so she walks nice and quietly to heel when we're out, and just continue with the steadiness. So it's just a gentle introduction onto a little bit more serious training in a couple of months' time. So what we've got for you now is Oscar. Oscar Weimaraner came to me, basically I didn't start training him until he was 2.5 years old. So he'd had no formal training other than a very bit of basic obedience up to him coming to us as a puppy. And he was a family dog and a pet, if you like. Not working strain, came from show stock, big dog. And it just shows you that you don't necessarily need to be working with a puppy. So don't assume that because you've got a dog that's a couple of years old or 2.5 years old, it will depend on the breed and the dog obviously, that you cannot train the dog, because you can. A little bit of patience and you're very quickly cottoned on. So I want to show this clip next. So this is basically showing the dog how I want them to work, which is in front of me largely so I can see the reaction to deer. And again, clip is self-explanatory, so have a look at this one and you'll see the contrast between start point and then somewhere where you want to be further down the road. You think it's quite easy stalking deer within a fenced area, or when you've got a large area like this, it's no different to stalking deer anywhere else. There's plenty of places for them to be and they're blooming hard to find. One of the deer gates has been left open for quite a long period of time. We actually spotted it because I said there was some cattle in here, which first of all I identified the fact we've got an issue. We've been and got the cows out, but in so doing I've seen a lot of evidence of deer. And we've seen red and roe, and we've seen them both this morning.
A sighting of a roe doe means a buck can't be far away. Sure enough, we get one in range almost immediately. With a cameraman struggling to get it in frame, Chris can't wait any longer, and he takes the shot.
Show me, show me, show me, show me.
The cameraman might be in the doghouse, but Oscar still has the chance to show just what he can do. Chris puts him on the scent, and it's not long until we find the carcass.
Good lad. Nice young buck. Good one to take out of here. He's the one that will do a lot of damage. He's a heart lung, so we're on the money. Good condition, full winter coat. Yeah. So we'll do a growlock on a tree we've got here, and apex predator into use again, and breakfast time. So what we're going to bring in now is Zosia a bit further down the road. So she's 4 months on now from the first clip. So she's about, I think from memory, about 10 months old. Lot of basic stuff with her. Very fun, short sessions, enjoyable, working on one particular thing with a little bit of steadiness, a little bit of sitting, don't moving on to something too complex. She's pretty much got that, but most of that training's been done in the home environment. So not in a game environment or a dairy environment. One thing you'll see that I'm doing as well is I've introduced a deer leg into the training very early on. So often I'll carry a deer leg when I'm starting off with a pup, and it's a focus for the dog. They're looking at your hand, they're looking at the deer leg or whatever it may be. It might be a tidbit, a reward, a cuddly toy, a gonk, whatever, just to keep the dog's attention, and you know you're getting into the basic commands. So this is now taking her out into the field, into the woodland environment, so it's the environment that she's going to be working in, and just working and continuation of a little bit of steadiness with the puppy. So we're now putting her into an environment where there's lots of interesting smells and scents, things to experience. And bear in mind that at this point you might have a dog that shoots off chasing a hare that suddenly jumps up in front of you. It's not a problem, it's not an issue. The hunting instinct is what you want in the dog. So I'm not too worried at a puppy chasing something, because it's quite a good thing. Don't be chasing after it and battering it, and, you know, creating a big fuss about it. Make everything fun. If something goes wrong, try and end on a high note. So try and get the dog back, settle down, don't be cross, don't be too stern, not at this stage. Just try and get the dog to do what you wanted it to do. A little bit of a reward, a bit of a fun play session, and sack it. So lots of little sessions rather than one great long where the attention span, you know, you've just not got such a long attention span, so you're just defeating the object. So short, sharp sessions like this one. Okay, this is Zosia now at probably just coming on to 10 months of age. We've had a bit of a delay and a pause in the training regime because she's still got a lot of pupping, you can see that here. She still wants to bounce around, she still wants to play, it's all fun, which is fine. Having a good scratch now, and it needs to be fun. You don't need to be trying to do too much, too serious stuff with her. They'll let you know when they're ready for training, and she's just getting to the point now where she's kind of beginning to understand a little bit more about right and wrong. Basic words of command really are three main ones, which is really to heel, although I don't want it to heel really rock steady. I want it to kind of work a little bit in front of me, which kind of like a pointer would naturally work, range a long way in front. But what I want to do is for her to do that just nice and quietly in front of me, up to about 10 or 15 yards, where she can actually pick up the scent then of deer. She's picking lines and wind as it comes across her, and then she's starting to indicate to me, which is exactly what Oscar does. So that's what we've got to learn. I only use one word of command for sit and stay, the whole thing. Just sit means sit, and I don't need to lie down or introduce any other things because it's just complicated. I just want her to sit, and then I can move around, I can leave her there while I'm glassing, looking around the sort of woodland. She's picking up a lot of scents in here now, as you can see her already, but you know, she's coming along quite nicely. She's a real intelligent little dog, very inquisitive, quite mischievous, and I like that because it shows character. And we've already had one or two little instances where she's shot off into the wood chasing scents and smells, which again is fine because I want to encourage that. I can steady her down a little bit later on when she's older. You don't want to try and teach a 3-month-old baby how to kind of feed itself because it's just not going to work. So you need to let a dog have their puppyhood. It doesn't want to become stressful, you don't want to really be too hard on them. And you need to judge the dog's character. Some dogs need a bit of a firm hand, some dogs are quite sensitive, so you need to sort of temper your training regime, if you like, with the dog's nature. I've got a cane with me. When I'm stalking with a dog, I've always got a set of sticks in my hand, so I think it's wrong to train a dog with nothing in your hands and then introduce it into the stalking field and all of a sudden you've got a stick. So again, it's just so she is getting used to me carrying something. It's also a very useful aid to tap her on the backside when she's misbehaving or pushing kind of too far in front. She's quite happy to sit there and she'll let me kind of move away. I can walk away, I can walk around, you know, using the glasses, whatever. She's watching, but she's still sat there, which is what I want. And just extend and move around and all the rest of it. I think she's probably not far off now where I'm going to start to do a bit more serious work with her. I may introduce a tracking lead because she's a real fast dog, so when she's probably on the line, whereas Oscar, I can work him and he'll work in front of me, I think she might be wanting to push on, so I may well work her on a lead initially and see how we go with that. But I think probably within the next couple of months now, training is going to really start proper, and then you will see, I would imagine, quite a noticeable difference in the dog. But you can still see she's still a pup, plenty of time yet, no rush, and that's what I want. So what we've got now is Zosha a lot further on down the road, still training, in the field, working with me, out with me most days now, and I've got her up on the hill initially on a stag. Now you'll see on this clip that what I'm really concentrating on here is not necessarily shooting the stag. So I'm being prepared to not get the shot, not shoot the deer. I'm more concentrating on what the dog's doing. So I'm getting the dog to sit. I've got a stag in the crosshairs, but my eye is more on her than it is on the stag. As it happens, everything went fine, shot the deer dead, nice follow up and all the rest of it. But at that point you've got to be prepared. You're actually training the dog, stalking the deer secondary. So don't get to a point where you've got your dog somewhere where you want to be and you're so focused on actually shooting a deer that you forget actually what the dog's doing. So you've got to accept that. You might not get a deer might run off, or you might have an issue, but really the focus is on the dog at this point in the training. And the second clip coming up is a similar kind of scenario, just to show why I like the dog working out in front of me, because you can see the reaction that she gives. She's picking up deer a long way out. She's got deer on the skyline, hinds laid on the top of the hill. So she's indicating to me, and she's indicating to me while I'm actually just finishing a gralloch quite some distance away. So I finished the gralloch of a deer, dog's indicating, telling me there's deer up above us, nose is going like that. So I finished the deer, it's a cool day, left the deer there and continued, found what she was indicating, which were the hinds on the hill. But then she's still indicating off to my left. So I went up to the left onto a mound and there's some roe. Subsequently shot one of the roe. So that again will just show you the indication that I'm seeing in my dog. They all react in different ways, but you need to kind of know your dog. Your own dog will tell you, it'll have a particular quirk, it'll have some sort of reaction, and you can generally differentiate between, it might be a woodcock, or it might be a mole, or it might be a vole with Zosha. She's always hunting mice, but it's different with deer. Can tell straight away with deer, and when a client's out with me and they've seen the dog, they'll be watching the dog and they'll know how she reacts. I've been doing it again this morning. So they're all watching the dog, and it's just that particular reaction that she's got. Your own dog may be completely different. Some might sit, some might whine, make a bit of noise, whatever. Just get to know your own dog. The wind's just blowing off the hill, and at this time of the morning you'll get some of the deer will come off the hill back down into the trees, and she's clearly indicating, so she's definitely picking deer up here. You can see that benefit of a dog, and although she's young, we've got quite a few misdemeanors and quite a few harsh words to have yet. She's actually learning a game now, but that's definitely deer. So she's now picking scent up. I suspect there'll be reds either just over the knoll, or there'll be reds coming in across one of these gullies, so it wouldn't surprise me at all while I'm dragging this deer down here if we didn't have red deer walking in behind us. But she's definitely got something coming up here. I think what we may do is get the kit on, and we might just go and have a look over this just over this ridge. That deer's, it's cool, it's about 5 degrees this morning, so there's no problem with that. We may just go and have a look over here. Right, we'll just go and have a look up over this ridge, because I've got a feeling there might be something up here. This is what I was saying about trusting your dog. We've gone 100 yards from the gralloch site. Dog's indicating deer, and there we go. Right on the skyline, a couple of hinds. She picked them up from right down there. Or we may have to work up and try and get a shot, but that's going to be difficult to engineer a safe shot. But It just shows you can see the dog now. She was telling me down there were deer up here, and she knows. So we're going to go up a bit further and just have a look and just see if there's anything below the skyline that might give us a chance of a shot. Okay, there's a hind. It's probably no more than about 70 yards in front of us. It's just docked into a little hollow. There's very little wind up here, so I don't really want to try and move if I can help it. I'm just hoping it works right and then I can see it. If it doesn't, I'm going to try and push forward and get a shot off the sticks, but it's literally just dropped down in front of us. The two that are over the hill have just worked that way. So I'm just going to wait and just hopefully see if that deer will come back into view again. Got a nice bench rest position off here. We've now got a bricket, a hind and a calf laid down above us on top of the hill, kind of looking down the valley, so we're kind of a bit trapped. So moving will be risky anyway. Shaz will pan onto them, but they're right above us. Typical reds laying kind of in three directions, picking the wind up from all sides. Just hoping that this hind just moves either right or left. In fact, there's a... Right, can you see these row? The dog has now decided to sit on top of the hill. She has to be in a position where she can see everything. I'd really rather she wouldn't set up above the rifle like that. She can now see the row as well. We need to get her down before I take the shot. Not up there. Down here, you damn. Get here. That's not the behaviour when you're on telly. Believe it or not, after the shot, the deer on top of the hill are only just standing up. Just shows the benefit of a moderator. You can also see little Zosha's still got a lot to learn about steadiness because she's keen to go straight in, so she's actually starting to run in there. So I need to work on that, but you can understand it, she's excited. I don't really want to lose that in her, but just need to instill more steadiness. But she's getting there. Okay, I'm just instilling a bit of steadiness in the dog working into the find the deer. I don't want her to keep getting that every time we shoot a deer she can come along, run along and find it. I just want the steadiness there. You can see from the footage there that I do need to work on that because she's just wanting to be in a bit quick. I'm just going to go back and sit her because she's up again. No, sit. Sit. Good girl, here. There we go. Good girl. And this last clip is really Oscar of Ayrshire coming to the end of his working career. I didn't really have to worry about him at all. I mean, you'll see him, he's about the size of a donkey. And the point I'm trying to make here is we're fully out in the open, on the edge of the field. I've got a row down below me, a row buck. The dog's kind of stood while I'm laid down prone, and you would think that the deer would be spooked by the dog. Not at all. I mean, it's strange, quite bizarre. I suppose to a deer, Oscar probably looked like another deer because he was about the same size and sort of broadly speaking the same coloration. So the deer showed no interest whatsoever in Oscar, who stood up kind of looking like a great big donkey on my right hand side while I shot a deer down in the basin. It was actually when I was doing a growling dem, actually, the deer. Subsequently, that's what I used it for. So again, just to see the contrast between a couple of different types of dog, relatively small, sort of medium small to donkey size, all great in the field. So picture speaks 1,000 words, so they say. So there you go. That's a potted history of some of my deer dogs, which fortunately we've got on film. We've got a roebuck just down below us in the valley bottom. Nice roebuck actually. We are going to continue this series and we're going to follow Rab, and Rab's going to explain along similar lines to what I've just done about how he's building up a relationship with the puppies and developing their training. But just to reiterate what I said about using the feeding bowls or something in your hand, a tidbit, to start to get your dogs to focus on you and look at hand signals. We'll just put you this little clip on. There'll be a lot more of this to come, but this is just a little teaser, if you like, of puppies. We always like to look at puppies anyway. Just Rabbit's doing exactly now what I've just been talking about, and we will follow that through in the coming, not weeks or months, but actually years, hopefully, if we're still upright that long.
Come, yeah. Come, sit. Good girl. Sit. Good boy. Do what?
Yeah, we'll do that. All right, I think should people enjoy that?
Yeah, well, hopefully. Obviously, I've been training the puppies, so on basic obedience. I mean, 7 weeks old and they're sitting for food and.
Yeah, it's just sort of nice to be able to just to talk about something and then say, well, actually.
You didn't know I had that, did you?
No, I didn't. It's great. It's actually, that was a bit flummoxed me that, because that's great. That just really just nice to say. I'm not talking shite all the time. Most of the time, maybe occasionally. I think another thing I didn't mention there was that I hate people yelling. There's occasion maybe to yell at dogs, but when people get
the only
used to
time
them,
I get angry with the dogs is, or show aggression, is when it's something dangerous.
Yeah,
something
yeah.
dangerous.
There's something wrong. It needs to make a point. But you get these people that, in fact, there's a farmer down the road who I won't mention his name, with sheepdogs, that he just yells and screams at them. He just yells and screams at them. Get the dogs used to listening. You don't want to be yelling and screaming out in the field when you're stalking. So get the dogs, talk to them calmly. You don't have to shout at them. You don't have to raise your voice at them, unless there's an occasion when you need to, which should be rare. Just talk to them in a normal voice, because that's the way you're going to be talking to them in the field, and they'll respond to that.
90% of it is reading the dog as well, and what it responds to.
Hey, I must admit, I'm actually looking forward to seeing
the progression.
The progression, so that should be good with labs. Yeah. So we've got the air gun clip coming up now. So hope you enjoy that one.
Welcome back. I'm Steve from Real Air Gun Adventures. So my friend Stephen Rapp have asked me to make a little video, a little bit of air gun malarkey for you guys, so that's what this is. I've dug out my old Diana 52, and when I say old, I mean it's 33 years-ish, so it's seen a few campaigns. It's a nice rifle, but I will say it's heavy and it's loud, a tad unrefined, much better than it was. It's had a Vortex tune in I think it says 2008, I think it was about then. So new spring guide, new liner, pretty much a whole new trigger, and lots of other bits and pieces. Made it into a really nice rifle to shoot. It comes in about £11, a bit more scoped. Now the scope on here is a Nikko Sterling. It's 3-9x50, relatively inexpensive, and today, because I'm filming, I'm going to add a Pard FD1 front clip-on. Now these aren't available in the UK at the moment, so basically it's a night vision unit. It's also a digital day scope and a spotter, and I think you can do other things with it too, but that's all I've managed so far. I quite like it. It's great for daytime, not so good if it rains, and I think it's going to rain, so we'll see what we get. But at least I can show you what I see. You won't see crosshairs, because obviously they're behind the unit. It does have its own crosshairs that I can switch on, but I'm not going to, because they don't line up with the crosshairs on the scope and it'll be a pain in the neck. So that's it in a nutshell. I've just thought of one other potential issue. Side lever. Now, when the side lever's back, it opens the breech, and the breech is sitting pretty much directly under the Pard unit there. Pain in the neck. But get in there, just slow me down a bit. I'm going to decock this actually. One of the nice things about this, it can be decocked. Now the safety is that tiny tab, back of the action, you just click that up and you're live. So what I'll do is I'll pull the trigger, release that to the first stop. There's a tiny, it's a bit of tin, I'm going to refer to it as a switch. Push that down and take the tension off the spring, so I haven't got to carry it around the cocked. Once I get to where I'm going, I will load and cock it with the safety on. So as at least I get one shot off without scaring everything for a 15-mile radius. That's about it, I think. It's a woody area, it's near a farm, it's very close to stables and outbuildings. They have a lot of trouble with wood pigeons and ferals. So I go there fairly regularly and keep the numbers down, but today I think it's most likely going to be squirrels, because we're later in the day, people have been up there banging around. I've no doubt there's going to be some work going on at the farm, so there could be some background noise, but I'll try to avoid that. Time to go. I'll be right back. Okay, well, we've arrived. I'm just going to find myself a suitable spot to set up and then see what we can do. Let's have a little look around. Be right back. Well, I think I'm a bit open out here, so I'm going to head off over into that dense coverage, which is clearly the best place to be. I haven't picked the best day for this. It's not ideal at all, but never mind. Well, it's definitely starting to drizzle. I'm going to try and find a spot that's fairly sheltered. This looks pretty good actually. I'm going to find myself a little bit of shelter around here and sit and wait. Obviously there's plenty going on, just a matter of time. Okay, well, I've just had a deer run past me, gone off over that way. I'm going to sit myself down, I can see a bit of squirrel activity, see what we can get. The rain is now starting to get a bit heavier. It was drizzle, now it's rain. So I better get my act together. Actually, better get my voice down. I see a squirrel up in that tree there. Let's get this rifle off. Get set up. Here we go. Well, that's it for today. That wasn't too bad considering it was wet and not very nice. I decided to stick a Ayrshire silencer on my rifle. Last minute decision, and it was a good one because it made a massive difference. Anyway, that's the Dana 52 in action, out in the rain. I hope you've enjoyed my video, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Nice to have something a bit different.
Yeah. It's some, obviously I've done a bit of air rifle shooting and stuff now. We do the rabbits. And
Well, it's kind of where you started, isn't it? I mean, I did at 12 years old.
Chris is an expert, so he's a good guy for the job.
But yeah, good. Right, so we've got a short coming up, which will be next week, and a couple of things to say about that. Firstly, we've got Angelo coming, who is an octogenarian. For those of you who don't know what an octogenarian is, it's over 80. Going strong, metal hips, fascinating guy, and I've been wrecking most of the week with him just because you can't get him over fences, can't get him across rough land because he's had metal hips. Quite enjoy taking
really
him
nice
out.
old guy, and he's got some awesome stories to tell.
Fascinating. I'm thinking
That might be a wee thing.
well,
do a little
I'm
thing
just
with
going to
him.
say that we've already decided to do that. I've spoken to him. I'm going to record a little bit of an interview with Angelo because an absolute fascinating. I'm not going to say any more about that, but that will come up. But anyway, we've got Angelo coming. So I've been wrecking, and one of the things, which when you've got somebody that maybe can't get a fence or a barrier and can't go a long distance or over rough ground, it's quite tricky. But I've been looking all week about where deer are on areas where I can get them to. So that's coming up on the short.
Not only Angelo, so areas that Chris can get to as well.
There is that. There's always that. And what have you been doing?
So this week I've had clients out. We've had a couple of cancellations this week due to
Oh, yeah.
injuries and family.
Family deaths, actually, unfortunate. That's a reasonable excuse.
But so as I say, I'm just preparing to go up to Argyll at the end of this week, and that'll be me up there for the duration of the rut.
Yeah. So that's going to be busy,
Fill on the
really.
clients, yeah.
So then also on the short next week we will, so the competition news.
So the competition will be we'll basically give you a date for the closing next week on the short as to when the competition for the Brandecosse boots will be closing.
So we'll give you a definite date, so you need to get entering that. So I remind everybody how to enter again.
So guys, basically like and subscribe to subscribe to our channel on the YouTube, obviously comment below and subscribe and like to the Brandecosse newsletter.
Yeah, well worth winning. So I think that's about it.
That's about it, yeah.
So that's good night from me,
And it's good night from him.
and remember, watch this space.
Cheers guys.